in the morning. You got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right, baby let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
I know you take a lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took an L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I'm my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, it had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like, whoa, bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. I was starving, now I'm eating till my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on a shirt before a centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me, deadly too. Play the keys, don't tweet. It's not peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this link. Family on my side, baby stay around me. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my ass way, I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my ass way, I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. Want that combo, better know you'll need a check from me. Can pay to play, the sun and still won't get a cent from me. I mix the fit up with the side like it's a remedy. I mix it up inside the pot, watch it drip while it drop. Time to take it to the top. Chips all in the middle like it fall, no I won't flop. We gon' pop like a soda can top. To me this is nothing, call my bluff and I won't stop when I flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks.
I want the checks, yeah.
I don't want the second, I want best.
I want best, yeah.
By any means, that's a triple threat.
A triple threat.
Yeah, this is getting bigger, I might
Flex.
I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I hit record it, drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep, these no Cartiers. Pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a peak, bro. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like that money clip us now, the new now looks like upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip, neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib, neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick, neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the deal. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way, I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, on no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since the fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no, no, no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a ball head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go, go, go. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like that money clip us now, the new now looks like upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like I press the button and the doors go off like that money clip us now, the new now looks like upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like They know, 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 they know. Tunnel vision when I hit the holly. Working on that cause my mind is on an island. Told my babies I'll be homeless, so don't stay up. Breaks my heart to see them sad, so I won't wait up. Need it all that's mine, I need it now. I lost my patience the same week I lost my smile. My baby pressed me, said I'm acting like a child. I took some L's, can lie, that really brought me down. I'm so antisocial, but I guess it's type selective. Swear I'll make a change, but for now I just can't help it. Only trust in God and these scars that I've been dealt with. I'ma do my job, time to grind, time to know. They know, 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 they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Going and I won't let up, they know. I'm not so fed up, they know. Stay for the record, they know. They know, they know, they know. Yeah, they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so fed up, they know. Why you never sign? You sign when you go live. Stuck inside that bubble, never ever go outside. You don't know you know computers, you're a tech guy. Back against the wall, you gon' fall or you gon' ride. I feel the pressure, foot to the pedal. My dogs, they fed up, my squad won't let up. Those sneakers, CDG, hot on step on. My money yoga, the way it stretch on. I change locations to change the weather. Know when that rain come, got my umbrella. And when my day come, my name gon' stay up. Yeah, I know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Gone and I won't let up, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know. Say it for the record, they know. Yeah, they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know.
All right, guys, we're about to start in a minute, guys. We're about to start. Not going to be before you long, but this is a show that I want to talk about as we continue to talk about the minimization of masculinity in these modern times. I had a great show with security boss Alan Charlotte, and we talked about remnant women versus traditional women. We're going to see how these two contrasting ideals parallel. And was Cam Newton right or was Cam Newton wrong? Get your pens and paper ready. We're about to do it. Let's go. Bringing it to you live once again from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State, where the topography is serene, pristine, and verdant green, where every day is Father's Day, and where manhood is part of hills and valleys, victories and failures, and whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but tonight we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate once the crisis is over. Now listen, I'm about to drop some fire for your mind. But before I drop that fire, let's explore why we are doing the Manhood Chronicles. All right, guys. We're about to start. And thank you for the 12 that are watching. As I said earlier, I had an awesome time with security boss when I was out in Charlotte. And ironically, this whole case with Cam Newton is actually tied back to the Carolina Panthers. That's my favorite team, as well as the Carolina Tar Heels. But guys, we're going to have a powerful discussion on tonight. Won't be very long, but we're going to have a discussion. And to the third thing to the watching, I need you guys to share the content, get the likes up. If you like what I'm doing, donate to the channel. But in the meantime, it appears that manhood continues to be under attack. It appears that men don't have the power to be traditional in their pronouncements, but also it appears that men are not being allowed to say the things they need to say to get the outcomes that they want. Many of you men that are listening to the 13 that are watching, you guys are looking for traditional women. The question remains, what is a traditional woman? If you explore the evidence, as we said in the past, from the clinical, if you look at it through the lens of clinical inquiry, what Cam Newton is talking about is more or less something that's normal in the South. Cam Newton is married. Cam Newton's mother and father are married. His dad is a pastor. And we're going to look at it through the lens of critical inquiry, but also we're going to look at it through the lens of context. Because many times these conversations get lost in context because people take what's said, they run away with it without putting it under its proper context.
And so, Cam Newton said something that was controversial, a couple of years ago. He was talking to a female reporter, and, he said something about running routes. And hold tight. If you guys can hear me, make sure you hit one. If you guys can hear me. But he said something about running routes. And shout out to my man, XL Pro. Thank you, XL Pro, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, brother, $5 cash out. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for last week. You guys did a phenomenal job. I'm a firm believer that if you provide men and women with quality content, they not only will support you, but they will continue to come back for more. And I do this, guys, because I believe in male empowerment. I think male empowerment is very important. I don't believe in censorship. I was listening to my dear friend Luke Hazley, and she talked about how in her country censorship was an issue. But I believe when you begin to censor people, they can't become the better versions of themselves. Many men already feel like they're boxed in. And what Cam Newton said, in my mind, was nothing bad or negative. What Cam Newton said is more or less synonymous not only to his upbringing, but it's also synonymous to what a lot of men think, whether they say it publicly or privately. But however, here's the issue. Many times, when women denigrate men and say things that are cantankerous or negative towards the male species, many times it goes on without any form of questioning or chastening. But let's go back and look at this clip, guys, from in the past with Cam Newton. Did you guys have any problem with this? He said this back in 2017. And did you guys have any problems with Cam Newton, what he said back in the past? If you guys or women had an issue with what Cam said, I need you guys to hit one. I want you guys to check.
I know you take a lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny.
All right. So the question is this: was Cam Newton wrong, guys, for what he said back in 2017? And we're going to look at the clip and also look at the news about what was said about Cam Newton. And we're going to ask ourselves the question: was Cam Newton wrong now? Shout out to my man Top Gun. He told me about this story. My wife also did, as well, as we are Carolina Panther fans. But it appears once again, guys, it's this ongoing combination where, men begin to speak, when men begin to more or less talk about the things that are pertinent to them and also pertinent to masculinity. It's always met under the lens of scrutiny. We live in a time now where, when you say things out of code or when you say things that are not PC, it's always met with the ire and the wrath of a gynocentric culture that more or less does not give men the opportunity to say things that are important. Many times we talk about, it's misogynistic. And some will argue that what Cam said was not misogynistic. But at the same time, do we have that same fervor and energy where there's a contingent of women that says things that could be more or less seen as also misandric? And so it's almost like this ongoing cycle and this ongoing gender warring where, men are often met with ill repute and they are not allowed to say the things that they feel that are important, but also salient to masculinity. And see, guys, that becomes a problem because, then men are not operating in their authentic masculinity, right? But men are also not operating in their masculine selves. I'm going to say it again. When these things happen, men are not operating in their authentic masculinity. And also men are not operating in their masculine selves. How many of you men that are listening feel like you cannot operate in your masculinity in these modern times, but also within a contextual framework of America? If you feel like you cannot operate in your masculinity, I need you to hit one. Because many men feel like that what Cam Newton said was no issue. And we're going to look at the comments. We're going to look at the evidence because as a therapist, we utilize something called collaborative empiricism. And collaborative empiricism is a fancy way of saying, let's collaborate and look at the evidence. That's all it means. Let's collaborate. Let's look at the evidence. Because Cam Newton, guys, was raised in the South. He was raised under the order of a patriarch. He was raised in a family where he saw his mother adhere to the instructions of his father. But true to form, as I was on Security Boss's channel when I was in Charlotte last week, we did an awesome show, and I will be broadcasting that show at some point. You know, we talked about the remnant. We said that there's only a remnant of women that more or less meet men's expectations and also criteria. And most men felt that, you know, that remnant is less than 10%. Security boss said she felt like it was less than 25%. And so what you see in modern women is not synonymous to what Cam Newton is used to. I'm going to say it again. What you see in modern women is not synonymous to what Cam Newton is used to. You know, and most of you men have never seen submissive, honorable, traditional women. And that's why there's so much consternation among men as it relates to marriage, dating, and relationships. I'm a firm believer that men should have the wherewithal to live their lives according to their own terms, free of scrutiny, free of mediocrity, free of shame and guilt. No different than I feel that women should have the right to live their lives the same way. As I said earlier, guys, in fair exchange, there is no robbery. And so every time men begin to speak, as I said earlier, begin to share their disdain without looking at it in its proper context, it's always met with ill repute. So I'm going to look at some of these comments, guys, and then I'm going to pull up the link, and we're going to read the comments. We're going to read the story from ESPN about Cam Newton. Leap year 1971 2 said those who have issues are the loud ones and can't cook. Yeah, I agree. It's sad, guys. It is sad. It is sad. Shout out to my man Byro Hamilton for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Byro Hamilton. I really appreciate it, sir. Byro Hamilton said Cam recited the traditional standards of women. If he said men should provide for and protect a woman, he would be applauded. Typical woke hypocrisy. And I agree with you 1,000% on Black Euro Speaks. It's always the conundrum that when men say things that are antithetical to modern code, then men are met with much ire and met with scrutiny. But, you know, when a woman says something off code, like Disney and many magazines and many shows tend to more or less postulate that men are goofy, men can't think, men are weak, then all of a sudden it's not an issue. And I'm going to show you guys something. I've showed this before in the past, and this goes back to why men are beginning to, you know, go their own way. Men are beginning to check out of relationships. It begins to more or less show why men are so frustrated. And this is not a Black man or white man issue. This is a Western man issue. Western men, guys, are going through the same issues that Cam Newton is talking about. Because what Cam Newton was talking about, there's a time for all things. There's a time when a woman should, you know, if she want to keep her man happy, listen and respect him. And there's a time she should be quiet for the sake of peace. But once again, you know, many took Cam Newton out of context. But let me play this clip real quick, guys. And this more or less parallels to what a lot of men are talking about in modern times and why a lot of men are actually leaving relationships or absolving relationships, because many men don't see the benefit of modern dating and relationships because the women that they're dealing with don't meet their expectations as a man, and then have not been conditioned to more or less respect, honor, and that dirty word, obey their husbands. And so that's the difference between a traditional woman versus a modern woman. Traditional women are not perfect. Neither are traditional men perfect. I'm going to say it again. Traditional men or women are not perfect. They're human. But the thing about traditional men and women, they both strive to complement one another. Traditional men and women strive to complement one another. And if you're not striving to complement your husband in the relationship, then I would say that you're not wife worthy and or wife ready. All right, hold tight.
It's a hard thing to admit, but it's understandable why they would choose to go their own way. And that's what's scary, is there's actually a rational reason why they would do that.
Men going their own way. And you can think what you want about it, but this is a really big problem for women, for us, for our future, for families, for you to find a partner. If a population of good men are walking away because they're fed up with women.
If you're being told all your life that you are bad and wrong just for being a man, and that you have toxic masculinity for being a man, And that, women, there's this famous expression that, a woman needs a man just like a fish needs a bicycle. And that men are basically useless. And that men are terrible and that, women are superior.
Our society is very callous towards men. The only message most men hear in the world is that they're a bumbling buffoon. The TV shows are full of idiot men. Commercials show men as buffoons. The society is against them. All they hear about is what idiots men are.
It's the mass of women that are taking over the culture and representing women. They're loud. They're mean. They say they want equality. Why are they not protesting in the streets for the changing the laws for alimony or child support or child custody? Because they don't want equality. They want superiority.
The male gender has more of a slave state, and it's because men are now subjugated to the law and to women, and nobody really believes it except the men who go through, say, the court. But most men think that they're exempt from that until they end up in a bad situation.
So for a lot of the men, and a lot of them have gotten screwed over in terrible relationships and divorces and gotten their kids taken away from them. So it's an understandable response.
In the United States of America, as a man, you can't speak up. I think most women tend to be I'm stereotyping, but they tend to be more collectivist. They tend to sort of be more in that socialist mindset. So I don't know that you're going to see a huge change. I think the change will have to come from men.
The lives of women will not change until the men get the opportunity to also examine and define and change their lives. In many ways, I sometimes think that the 20th century was the century where the women made all these massive changes, and the 21st century will be the changes that the men will make, partly in adapting to the changes that the women have done.
And those men are doing something about it. They're saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not getting married, or I'm divorced. They don't sit around just trying to live their life through women. They actually have lots of hobbies. They go out, they buy that land you were talking about. They're getting motorcycles. They're having a good time, and they're enjoying life without having to deal with the stress of the women and the society that tells them they have to have a woman in their life.
How would you feel? I mean, you're not going to feel that attracted to a woman or care to be loving towards her or romantic towards her. So this men going their own way is a reaction to that. I really think it's a rational reaction to that. Men are finally like, hey, we've given you all you want. You are equal in every way, and then you're still shaming us.
All right, you guys saw that. I saw it. And shout out to my dear friend, Luke Casely. Thank you, Luke Casey, for that $10 super sticker. Thank you, dear. And that is a deal, right? Thank you, Luke Casey. I really and greatly appreciate that kind $10 super sticker. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. And once again, guys, Luke Casey is one of those women that hail from a traditional country, just like sweet Lulu Bean and many other women that come into this space trying to understand men, trying to understand masculinity, and trying to understand how men work in these very trying times where the souls of men are tested, and where many times men feel they can't say the things they need to say for fear of retribution, but also for fear of mockery and also scrutiny. Shout out to my man Top Gun for that $10 super sticker. Thank you, brother. And that is a deal, right? Shout out to Top Gun for that $10 super sticker. Thank you, sir.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Top Gun said, I'll sit out and donate my half of Friday's 2 for 20 and your on this concert tonight. You may proceed, man. You're a funny dude. But anyway, guys, we're going to look at the evidence, man. We're going to look at the evidence. We're going to look at several vestiges of evidence. But before we look at the evidence, guys, let's look at what theology says about Cam Newton. And was Cam Newton wrong? Because if you do believe in the faith, if you believe in the tenets of theology, then, it's fair to say that Cam Newton was on code and Cam Newton was on point. According to the King James Bible, if you believe in theology, if you believe in it, if you don't believe in it, then it does not apply to you. But it is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. The King James Version says it's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. And so what Cam Newton was really saying is synonymous to what theology says. And that basically means that, there's a time when you should speak and there's a time you should be quiet for the sake of peace. And so, many had consternation with that. But see, here's the question. Is Cam Newton only living out what Southerners believe and do? Is Cam Newton living out traditionalism? Because Cam Newton's father is a pastor. And, his upbringing and teaching is more or less synonymous to how he was raised in Georgia. But, anytime traditional men begin to speak out and say what they want, then, it's always a problem. It's always a problem. So once again, is it what Cam Newton said? Was it wrong? It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. And that's what Cam Newton was talking about. He didn't say it directly, but he was saying it indirectly. And what he was saying is that when a woman is constantly like some modern women, and when they're constantly cantankerous, constantly challenging his masculinity as a man, then what Cam Newton is saying, that's an issue. But see, we live in a world and a time now where men can't really speak out and say anything. And that arrested development as it relates to that man's masculinity is not good for his psyche, mind, and spirit, guys. It's not good. It's not good that a man's development is arrested to the point that he can't speak his piece, say what he means, and also mean what he say. That's not good for a man, guys, in my opinion. But you guys see it in plain view. Is it better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman? How many of you men have dealt with contentious women? How many of you men have dealt with women that don't help you become the best version of yourself? How many of you men have dealt with women that Cam Newton is talking about? Have you dealt with the same women that Cam Newton is talking about? If you dealt with it, I need you guys to hit 1. I need you guys to hit 1 if you dealt with the type of women that Cam Newton is talking about. Luke Hayes said, no rational man wants an argumentative woman, and you are 1,000% correct there. No rational man wants an argumentative woman. And I agree with you guys. I agree with you, Luke Hayes, at 1,000%. Men want women that are honorable, a woman that can more or less help him become the better version of himself, a woman that's going to help him meet his mission and his mandate on earth. But as I said earlier, guys, we live in a time now where men feel like they can't speak, they can't say anything that goes against the code. And, Cam Newton's going to be thrown under the bus for this. I hope it doesn't impact him in a negative way as it relates to him getting a job in the NFL. I hope the Panthers don't say anything that will more or less cause him to lose out. But I'm going to read the excerpt, guys. Hold tight. I'm going to read the excerpt. Hold tight. Let me find this screen. And let's read it. Let's go. I'm going to go over it real quick. And I didn't have an issue with what Cam Newton said, but I'm sure there are some that had an issue with it. And so you guys see it. I see it. Hold tight. Give me 1 minute. So according to breaking news with ESPN, free agent Cam Newton under fire for comments about women who don't know when to be quiet. Once again, free agent Cam Newton under fire for about women who don't know when to be quiet. And once again, it appears that Cam Newton's free speech is being violated. He didn't say anything that was out of line, in my opinion. He's more or less being a forerunner to how he was raised in the South. And if you grew up in church like Cam Newton did, even though he may not live it like he used to or should, his dad is a pastor, so it's consistent with his teachings in theology. And I showed you guys the excerpt from Proverbs 25:24. It's better to dwell in a house of a. It's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than a house shared with a contentious woman. That's a ranting woman. That's a nagging woman. That's a woman that more or less exudes masculine energy, something that masculine men don't like, because masculine men need feminine women. Masculine men need feminine women. All right, so let me read through some of this. So for the second time in his NFL career, 2015 league MVP Cam Newton is being scrutinized on social media for making sexist comments regarding women. And the staff writer for ESPN is David Newton. The 13-year-old free agent quarterback said on $1 Million Worth of Game podcast released Monday, complained about women who can't cook and don't know when to be quiet. And see, guys, that's the problem with many modern women. That's the problem with many modern women. They want traditional men, but they don't want to be traditional women. And it's causing a lot of men, guys, to have a lot of consternation because they feel like the things that they want in relationships, many times they feel like they can't get it. And because they can't get it, they're saying that it's a problem. This was a clip from $1 Million Worth of Game, I believe, but this is the issue that a lot of men, guys, are dealing with. They're looking for traditional women. And anytime traditional, heteronormative masculine men begin to speak, many times they're saying that it's an issue. Cam Newton said this, now a woman for me is handling your own business, but knows how to cater to a man's needs. What's wrong with that? Because see, if Cam Newton was in South America, if Cam Newton was in South Africa, if Cam Newton was in a country where they respect and honor their men, then that's the norm. Women that come from traditional countries understand what Cam Newton is talking about. The fair exchange, guys, is when the man gives to the woman gives back to the man. Part of the masculine protection of a man is a woman being honorable and protecting his peace, which is his ego. But if you're constantly challenging your husband's authority and your man's authority and trying to be the boss or the equal in the relationship, some men have an issue with that. Some women want to be partners instead of being husbands and wives. And that's what a lot of men are saying in these modern times. But Cam said, now a woman for me is handling your own business, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? Newton said on the podcast, and I think a lot of times when you get the aesthetics of like, I'm a boss B, I'm this, I'm that, right? And that's what Cam is saying. You know, many modern women say they are boss B, but they want a man to pay all the bills. Many women say that they are a boss B, but they want a man to give them protection. Many women say they are a boss B, but they don't want to more or less respect and honor a masculine man. And see, you're not going to get a masculine man like Cam Newton if you exude masculine energy. And as Bishop Charles E. Williams said, y'all ain't going to talk to me. Men are looking for feminine women, cooperative and traditional women. And that's what men are looking for. And Cam Newton is looking for a woman like that. Even though he didn't marry his baby mamas, and even though he probably made some bad choices with the women that he dealt with, he's talking in the context of generalities. Cam Newton said, no, baby, you can't cook. You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead. And what Cam Newton is saying is consistent with what a lot of men are saying in these spaces, guys. What Cam Newton is saying is consistent with what a lot of men are saying in these spaces. Most men want traditional women that can honor and respect them and know how to more or less vacillate between doing what's right and also doing what's wrong. But sadly, many can't vacillate between the two. Guys, I need you guys to share this content. Share this content, guys. Share this content. Get the likes up. It's about 27 in the house. Get the likes up, guys. Share the content. If you have not donated, donate to Cash App $7 Smalls. Thank you, a man supporting men. I appreciate it, brother, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. He said, instead of being the best woman she can be, she wants to be the best man that she can be. You're 1,000% correct. Luke Cage 20 said that what many don't understand is that the entire media complex is working to destroy masculinity. At the same time, China is diligently working on creating an army of more masculine men, preparing them for the times. You are 1,000,000% correct, Luke Cage. You're 1,000,000% correct. And that's what people don't understand. And that's what many people don't get. China is preparing their men to be masculine, like Luke Cage is saying. But we're conditioning our men to be soft and weak, but we wonder when the barbarians come and they will come, then how will our men stand when their masculinity is constantly being arrested? You know, the chick named Cynthia G made very disparaging comments that are very misandric towards men. You know, she talked about the deletion of black babies and black boys. But, you know, when that happens, you know, nobody says a word. Many times, you know, women in the media have made disparaging comments towards black men and the black masculine image, but, you know, nothing is said. But these same said women said they want men to protect them. They want men to protect them and honor them, but you're not honoring and respecting his ego as a man. And that's the issue in these modern times. You're not honoring and respecting his ego as a man. And that's the struggle. And that's also the great connection. Shout out to my man, Dwayne Brown, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dwayne Brown. He said, keep rocking for the masculine men. I appreciate it, brother. I will keep rocking for the masculine men. In the meantime, to the 35 that are watching, guys, share this content. When you guys share this content, when you don't have any monetary things to share, it helps me grow this channel. It keeps me motivated, and it helps me produce some great content to keep you guys motivated, but also to let you guys know that there are men and women like Luke Casey, like Sweet Lulu Bean, like Elisa Del Rosario, and the other sisters that often come in that believe and support masculine messages. It's rare that you find women like Luke Casey and Sweet Lulu Bean and the other sisters that support this platform. Miss Parker, back to basics. It's rare. But Gregory Scotland said these women brought this on themselves. But Cam have learned better and trying to move forward, willing to do the introspection, no doubt. And that's all we're looking for. We're looking for women that are willing to do the introspection. Shout out to brother Zeke, Sempre Bino Nation. Shout out to the Angry Man, the Bino Nation, the kosher clinician, and the chat. Salute. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, brother Zeke. Thank you, sir, for coming in and showing some love. Help me, brother Zeke, by sharing this content and sharing the message. I really appreciate it. So back to point. He said that in 2017, the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, Newton responded about how funny it was hearing a female reporter ask questions about a receiver running routes. How many of you guys feel that in many male spaces, men can't be men? You know, whether it's in sports, many men feel like they can't beat themselves. They feel like they're constantly badgered, constantly under attack. Many feel they can't express themselves. And so it's caused a lot of men to more or less suffer within instead of suffering without. And so a lot of guys are frustrated because they feel like they can't be themselves. They feel like they can't say what they want to say because of the fear of pushback. And how many men feel like Cam Newton? How many men feel like Cam Newton, a lion locked up in a cage? A man that can't say how he really feels about life and or situations because he's in fear of the retribution that often comes with trying to be a man in very, very despondent times. What do you guys say or think about Cam Newton? So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about what Cam Newton is saying? Because some don't have an issue with what he's saying. All right. So Cam said, it's funny to hear a female talk about routes, he said in response to the question from the Charlotte Absorber, Jordan Rodriguez. It's funny. In a statement at the time, the league said the comments are just plain wrong and disrespectful to the exceptional reporters and all journalists. They do not reflect the thinking of the league. Newton later apologized in a 2-minute video without addressing Rodriguez by name. Cam Newton said that after careful thought, I understand that my words choice was extremely degrading and disrespectful to women. He said at the time, to be honest, that was not my intentions. And if you're a person who took offense to what I said, I sincerely apologize to you. The league did not respond immediately when they asked for comments about the latest quotes. Newton said in his first 9 seasons in the NFL, after being selected the top pick of the 2011 draft, he said he spent the 2020 season with the New England Patriots, but was cut from the 2021 camp. He signed a 1-year deal with the Panthers as they went 0-5. He's not being signed by another team in free agent, but Carolina Panthers general manager Scott Fitterer and coach Matt Rule recently left the door open for his return. A team spokesman declined to comment Tuesday. Matt Rule said, I love Cam Newton at the NFL owners meeting in South Florida last month. He's an amazing leader, an amazing football player. Everything we do has to be right for the organization and also right for him. And guys, this is the issue that we're dealing with in these modern times, but also in heteronormative masculinity. It appears that men can't be themselves. Men can't speak out. Men feel that anytime they speak out or say anything contrary to code, then it's met with ill repute, and it's also met with chastening. And see, guys, when I do shows like this, I don't know why, but it causes a lot of issues. It causes a lot of issues sometimes because, true masculinity is definitely under attack. It's been under attack for years. And the thing is, men don't hate women. We love our women. We just want honor and respect. That's all. Men just want honor and respect. All right. So, hold tight. This is from TMZ. And I'm going to try to play this as well. Hold tight.
I found the perfect car. Under budget, too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it.
Hold tight,
I
guys.
thought online meant no one to help me. But Susan from Carvana had all the answers. She didn't try to upsell me. Not once. Because they're not salespeople.
After this ad.
Guess who just checked in on me? Susan from Carvana.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
A lot of people, they know one Cam. They don't know Cam. The upbringing, you growing up, what was that like? How was that?
So I'm not one of these dudes to be like, bro, I'm gutter, I'm this, I'm.
And before I start, guys, this is fair use. This is fair use. This is for educational purposes only. And so let me bring the banner across the string. This is for educational purposes only, guys. But we're going to break this thing down and dissect it. This is fair use. Fair use for educational and more or less talking and more or less trying to give men insight into the more pertinent issues that are more or less impacting men in these modern and very negative times. So hold tight, guys. Hold tight. All right, hold tight.
I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father.
And see, that's the issue, guys. The reason why we have so many unconscious simps, because, they never saw masculine men in their lives. Cam Newton was raised by Cecil Newton, his brother, his father. He also has a little brother that plays, used to play with Hampton is a quarterback, I believe. Not Hampton, but Howard. Don't know where he's playing it now. But Cam Newton, guys, is used to a masculine father. And see, when boys are raised in masculine homes, then they operate in a masculine frame. Cam Newton is used to that. But some of the men in our times are not used to masculinity. That's why when they see masculine men like Cecil Newton and what Cam Newton is trying to say, then often, guys, it's an issue. It's an issue when they see masculine men like Cecil Newton, when they see masculine men like Cam Newton. Healthy socialization in masculine cultures is what Cam Newton is used to. But many boys grew up in homes where they didn't have fathers and they never saw masculinity in its raw form. Keep listening.
My parents has been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up in a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother. And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch.
Okay, what's the difference?
A woman.
Okay.
Right. Cam Newton is from the South. Cam Newton, guys, is from the South. And see, guys, that goes back to what we talked about. It's called the minimization of masculinity, which is a thinking error. The minimization of masculinity and the magnification of the feminine. I'm going to say it again. It's the minimization of masculinity and the magnification of gynocentric thought. And see, when you continue to minimize the importance of men and boys in this country, guys, it's not healthy for the nation and it's not healthy for our boys. Men and boys need to be in a place where they can be men because, once again, the class of warriors cannot rise no higher than the nurturers that support that warrior class. And that's what more or less Cam Newton is talking about. He's used to a culture where the men were masculine. And see, when a man can't speak and say what he means and mean what he says, then how can he adequately protect you or the community that he's in? But see, some modern women want the best of both worlds. They want a man to be masculine, but also be soft at the same time. And true masculinity does not work like that. No different than a man would expect a woman to be feminine and be masculine at the same time simultaneously. It's not going to work.
Okay.
A bad bitch is a person who's just, you know, girl, I'm a bad bitch. You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing.
And I'm gonna ask you guys a question. We talked about the remnant of women. Most guys say it's less than 10%. Less than 10% are remnant women. Some say 15 to 10%. Security Boss and I talked about it. She said less than 25%. She said the ones that are on YouTube, well, the ones in America, but the ones on YouTube, she said it's less. But what percentage of women do you guys feel from your own anecdotal experience have more or less experienced women that more or less exude the boss B mindset? How many women have you guys dealt with that exude that boss B mindset? And I think that boss B mindset, guys, is not only a thinking error, but it's also a form of catastrophizing. And that catastrophizing is always looking at the worst. And many times, guys, it's due to the trauma and the pain that they went through as women. They've been through pain, they've been through hurt, and they've been through a lot of discontentment to the point that they begin to castigate all men that more or less exude or more or less exhibit masculinity. Thank you guys for watching. The 40 to watch and share the content. Let's get this stream up to 50 to 100 or more because, you know, these are issues in our community. And until we allow men to more or less speak up and become the better versions of themselves, then they're not going to see the things that men need to see. Gregory Scotland said the manosphere was built for men. We have to maintain control. It's for our purpose. We welcome the bona fide women, not the agitators, disruptors, and the mockers. And we don't also welcome the hyenas. We don't want the hyenas, guys. Masculine men don't want hyenas. We want feminine women. We want traditional women. We want honorable women. We don't want chameleons. We want traditional, honorable women that can help men become the better versions of themselves. And you're right, brother Zeke Semper, he's from Atlanta, Georgia. Cam is from Atlanta, Georgia. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, and that's typical of most men in those times. So Cam is from Atlanta, Georgia. The inspirational relationship group said, I'm saying straight up, we should unanimously be done with women who want soft, unprotected men. The advice comes from protected women. Right, I totally agree. Suave said 90% easily. Marcus McLeod said damn near all of them. That's sad, man. Brother Zeke said less than 85% or more than 85%. Rorschach said that feminist female supremacists want to cast the sports as sexism. After casting the sports environment, they would demand half of the job and equivalent pay. Feminists want to take over every space. Yeah, it appears that way, sadly. Luke Cage said many men are willing to betray their principles as long as they get a paycheck. Look at what has happened to the ESPN and how their woke agenda has changed the ways that they present their content. Sadly. Gregory Scotland said it would be like the Western Empire was towards the end, lacking in great masculinity. And Luke Hazley is 1,000% correct. Shout out to MC Recovery Williams and Relapse. He said, in my age group, a lot of the queen and divas, definitely 80%. Yes, it's sad, guys. And that's why we have these conversations. We have these conversations to help men understand the importance of becoming masculine and staying masculine. Keep listening.
And that I look the part, but I don't act the part.
Okay.
You know, and it's a lot of women who are bad bitches. And I say bitches in a way, not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs.
Right. How many of you men feel like the most modern women cater to your needs? The women that you deal with, what percentage would you say, based on your dating experiences, cater to your needs as a man? I want you guys to give me a percentage. Because see, as men, we need to have these conversations because these conversations are very pertinent to understanding masculinity and understanding how femininity impacts the mental health of a man. Men want feminine women that can help them become the best version of themselves. And we're not talking about men that abuse women. We're not talking about men that get women pregnant and run. We're talking about hardworking, responsible men, blue-collar men, white-collar men, working-class men. That's what we're talking about. Not perfect men, but men that are striving to be the best versions of themselves. What percentage of women would you guys say have given you what you need? Damn. Man, you guys are raw tonight. Wow, negative. Swab said less than 5%. Top Gun said 0. The inspiration relationship group said 0%. Man, that's sad. That is sad, man. That is real sad, guys. That is really sad. Share the content, guys, and get the likes up. Thank you.
Right. And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that. No, baby. Like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet.
And see, part of a woman being feminine is being a nurturer. She knows how to nurture the ego of a man through the nourishment of his body, but also she knows how to help a man do the nourishment of his mind. But also she knows how to protect the man through the nourishment of his loins, which is his sexual organs. And then when a woman can do all of those three things, but also know how to be a man's peace, because consistent with what I showed you guys earlier, Cam Newton's from the South. He's from Georgia. His dad is a pastor. And a quarrelsome and contentious woman will run a man to the corners of a rooftop. Men want peace. Teddy said to Bella and the Ming, all I want is peace of mind. Teddy said it's so hard to find. He was saying that back in the 70s. And so if women would just take notes and try to understand what men are saying, what men ask for is not a lot. And we know that there are men that don't more or less respect good women, but I would tell women to make sure you don't lose who you are as a person dealing with men that are abusive and don't respect and honor good women. Keep listening.
You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
Now, a lot of women, now the kickback of that is be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet for the man and handle his business. You know, that's what they say. Or I'm gonna be.
And once again, guys, that's conditional femininity. That is conditional femininity. That is conditional femininity. Can you imagine, guys, if a man said that I'm going to protect a woman only when it's beneficial, only when she's being a good woman? Men by nature are protectors. It's at their core. Most men in general normally don't practice conditional masculinity. They don't say that I'm going to help that woman aside the road, or I'm going to protect that innocent child when I get respect. Now, some men are beginning to act that way, but men in general are just wired. You know, we're just naturally masculine. We don't pick and choose when we're going to be masculine. And see, guys, that's a sign of conditional femininity, because a true woman that's feminine at her core is going to acquiesce and more or less act as a woman that's more or less catering to the needs of her man. Men will give you the best, ladies, if you respect and honor him consistently as a man. Not when you want a purse, not when you want a trip, not when you want something new for the house, but when you're doing it genuinely from your heart. And you're seeing it from the evidence with a lot of these men. A lot of these men are saying that they're not getting it on a consistent basis. And that's a problem when men are saying that they're not getting their needs met, guys, on a consistent basis. To the 40 people that are watching, guys, I need at least 5 to 10 to share this content. Let's get this stream up to 50 to 100 tonight. If you guys can do that, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's share the content. Let's get the stream up, guys. Get the stream up by sharing it with other people. But back to point.
Be vulnerable. I'm going to be submissive to a man and handle his business. That's what they're going to say. So what is your...
But it's ways to do it. And I'm not just about to sit up there and beat up my queen.
No, I ain't saying like that.
But I'm also gonna also tell the men to start being men, bro.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Men start being men. I told you, men, that you are the prize catchers. I told you, men, that you are the prize catchers. You determine if she is wife worthy. You determine if she is worthy of the ring, guys. You guys are the prize catchers. But if you're not more or less working in a prize-worthy manner, guys, if you're not working in a manner that's consistent with getting your needs met and getting the outcomes that you deserve, guys, then guess what? The women have no motives or motivation to change. But when you're operating in true masculinity, then women will do one or two things. They will either adhere to what you're saying and doing, or more or less they'll be left behind. It's literally that simple. But Cam is right. Men need to start being men. But so many men have been conditioned to be unconscious simps. They've been conditioned to more or less be subjugates of the women in their lives instead of more or less demanding power and standing firm in their masculine sovereignty. And that's the issue that a lot of women and a lot of men don't more or less exercise. And that's why women are turned off, because even if a woman is combative about what a man is doing, women by nature won't vary masculine men. Women by design only respect power and strength. And sadly, so many men don't know how much power they have because they give it away instead of demanding it.
That sucker shit should not be rewarded.
So you guys saw it. And Cam said what I said. Cam said what many men have said. I told you guys in the past, you cannot reward bad behavior. You cannot reward bad behavior. Shout out to my man, Chris Ward, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir, Chris Ward. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you, County, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chris Ward. But you cannot award bad behavior. Rorschach said that feminists want men and women to continue to make more and more will to total influence in the fashion, social media, and adult entertainment, but also dominate traditional male spaces like sports, comics, and etc. Right. It's a form of emasculation. Men can't be themselves. And when men can't be themselves, it's not healthy. It's not healthy to the ego or the psyche of a man. It's not healthy, guys. Marcus McLeod said it sounds like the U.S. with inflation, taxes, and the disenfranchisement of men. And shout out to my man, the Ingram Experience, because the Ingram Experience talks about relationship capitalism. Relationship capitalism basically says this. You have the right to exercise your rights as a man to get with the best women that's suitable for you as a man, and the best women that are on the market that can help you become the better versions of yourself. Bear Heaven said men need to start being men. How offensive, says the naysayer who keeps defining what a real man should be. I totally concur and agree. And you're right, Cam said what we all said. But what do you guys think about this whole Cam Newton fiasco? What do you guys think about what he said on $1 million worth of game? Because I didn't have an issue with what Cam Newton said. I thought Cam Newton was right on time. And you know, Cam Newton had an interview with Brittany Renner, guys, in the past. I'm going to play this real quick, and then I'm going to drop the link, and we're going to have a conversation. But hold tight. Hold tight, guys. So let's see what Brittany Renner said about Cam Newton's comments. Hold tight. Hold tight.
Partially minding my business. I was, but then I was trying to see why Cam was trending. But
so Brittany Renner says some women choose to suck blank and shut up. Some don't. Marriage is a business. Too many. So yeah, people play the part. Let's stop glorifying relationships and the individuals in them we know nothing about. Most cheat with women who look nothing like their wife anyway. Jay Tessa, Cam basically said he prefers an Anisha Curry or Savannah James over Brittany Renner. And all y'all heard was cooking. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but what do you guys think about this whole fiasco? What do you guys think about this shenanigans about Cam Newton? Shout out to my man Gregory Scotland for that $3 super chat, that $3 cash app. Thank you, Gregory Scotland. He said, we channel is very important. Your channel is very important. So thank you. I appreciate it, Gregory Scotland. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gregory. And I'm going to continue to empower and uplift men and good women until they tell me that I can't. But let's listen to what Brittany Renner is saying.
But anyways, I see someone throw my name in a tweet like this because people love to do that. The whatever woman you think is, I don't know, the standard versus the big bad whore who can't keep her mouth shut. And I just wanted to share this tweet, and now I'm sharing it on my story because I know someone out there needs to hear this. A lot of these couples, you guys don't even really like each other for real. Not even attracted to your wife. Okay. Very sad that a lot of people cannot live in their truth. Come to the lights. We want to see who you really are. A lot of people can't do that because marriage is a business to a lot of people. You know, It's their preference. People want to get married for whatever reasons. Let people be happy with their preferences. God bless. Too many of you do it for the gram instead of doing it for yourself. Because I don't know why so many people want to go out of their way and burden we the people with the fake bullshit you're trying to convince us that you're really happy in, but you're not, because there's a lot of DMs and people that can attest otherwise. I don't know why we have to see that. And then constantly being shoved down our throats that love isn't real. All married couples are miserable. Everyone cheats. Like, why do we have to accept that reality? That's your world. That's your message. That's what you're about. I don't know why people go out of their way to make it appear like they're happy when they could really just follow their heart and be happy. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. Maybe I should shut up. But seems a little backwards. But God bless. One more thing, because I just can't shut up. I don't know when to be quiet. A lot of these preferences are rooted in self-hate.
And you guys see that Brittany Renner definitely has a lot of underlying mental issues, a lot of underlying pathologies. You know, she often spews a lot of things that she projects as how she actually really feels. And Brittany Renner, sadly, is synonymous to a lot of modern women. I don't really get her drift. I mean, I have to go back and listen to this again. But Brittany Renner is definitely dealing with some undiagnosed mental issues.
I didn't want to say it, but I said it.
And this whole thing about, you know, the cheating part. Women cheat as much as men. 70 to 90% of divorces are filed by women. And so I don't quite know what Brittany Renner means by what she's saying. But what do you guys take on this whole fiasco once again? Because I think what Cam Newton is used to, Cam Newton wants a traditional woman. Cam Newton is used to traditional women because Cam Newton was raised in an environment where he saw traditionalism. Cam Newton was raised in an environment where he saw and is used to traditional women and also traditional behaviors and traditional relationships. And so what a lot of the guys are saying, you know, shout out to Jay Money, he said that major issues is the majority of the men can't distinguish between a wife and a concubine. Jay Money also said the majority of these females, 98% are concubines. And that's sad because there are single men that want to get wives, but based on what some of these men are saying and experiencing, many are saying that many of these women are not worthy of being wives and are not worthy of being in relationships. And that's an issue if we're trying to form a more perfect union. We're trying to form a more perfect union in these troubling times, but also for building a Black community. And many feel that the Black community in America in general is done for, because anytime masculine men begin to speak or men begin to speak up and say what they want or expect, it's always an issue. Many times when men begin to speak up and say what they want in a relationship, then it's always an issue. And that's a problem. That is a problem if we're trying to build stronger families and if we're trying to build stronger relationships. So what do you guys think about this whole fiasco about what Cam Newton said? What do you guys think about it? And I got another clip for you guys. Hold tight. And what a lot of men guys are beginning to see also, that it's dangerous dealing with modern women, because many men feel that many modern women don't add anything of value that can help them become the better versions of themselves. Luke Cage 20 said that sadly now men are not even bothering to date or look forward to getting married, thus reducing the nuclear family and continuing society destruction. And Luke Cage, dear, you are correct, sadly. You know, men are looking for women like yourself, the sweet Lulu Beans of the world. So Miss Parker back to basics, women that are striving, not perfect, but women that are striving. And the barbarians, when they come, who's going to protect the women and the children? And so you can't continue to denigrate your men without seeing the recompense of your error. You cannot continue to denigrate your men without seeing the recompense of your error. And that's what you guys are beginning to see now. You guys are beginning to see it now. Marcus McLeod said mental illness is way too common these days. You're right. And dysfunction, guys, sadly, is the new normal. Dysfunction is the new normal, guys, for many in these modern times. Dysfunction is the new normal. Hold tight, guys. Give me 1 minute. Blow this one up. And so what percentage of women would you guys say is like Brittany Renner and the bad B? What percentage of women? I think you guys said that most of them are over, mostly about 98%. Listen to what she said to Cam Newton.
And let's keep it funky now. Let's keep it funky. Like I'm Cam Newton, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I'm not about to hit no DM with no Brittany talking about, hey, yo, what's good, what's popping? Where you at? You in Atlanta? I see you in Atlanta. Boom, slide through.
But why not?
Because I don't want to end up in your book.
I don't know what he said. You don't want to end up in her what? Hold tight, guys.
But why not?
Because I don't want to end up in your book.
So Cam said he don't want to end up in her book. I see what Cam is saying, right, in her book. Basically tabloids. Basically what he's saying is that it's true to form that some of these modern women can't be quiet. They can't keep secrets. They'll be telling the man's business. And a woman like Brittany Renner will destroy a man's image, his personal image. A woman like Brittany Renner will destroy a man's image, also his personal image as well. And these are the issues, guys, that many men are dealing with. These are the issues that many men are dealing with. You're right, D. They're going to have to protect themselves, sadly, because a lot of men are checking out, sadly. Many men are checking out. And it's a problem. Suave says about 40%. Ink Pop says 80%. It's sad, guys. And many men are beginning to say the same things. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. So I'm going to drop the link, guys. I'm going to drop the link. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Should there be a time when our women should be quiet? Should we more or less adhere to the tenets of theology that there's a time for all things? Are most women the type of women that Cam Newton talking about? Many of you men are saying that, sadly, that more than 80% of the women exhibit those behaviors like Brittany Renner and the type of woman that Cam Newton is talking about. And the remnant women that men are looking for, you guys saying that they are hard to find because many men are looking for remnant women. Men are looking for remnant women, not perfect women, but many men, guys, are looking for a remnant woman, a woman that's willing to harness the masculinity of a man, a woman that's willing to help a man become the best version of himself, a woman that's willing to speak life into a man. I told you guys that when Will Smith went through what he went through, the men were dealing with poverty of thought, poverty of mind, but also poverty of spirit. When a man is dealing with poverty of thought, poverty of mind, and poverty of spirit, he's at greater risk, guys, of mental health distress. I'm going to say it again. When a man is at risk of poverty of thought, poverty of mind, and poverty of spirit, he's at greater risk of mental health distress. And mental health distress is not conducive to a man being productive. And that's why we need to have these conversations, guys. We need to have these conversations because Cynthia G eviscerated Cam Newton. Cynthia G has a lot of thinking errors. And Cynthia G has a lot of mental health pathologies. Guys, I've clicked on to the link. If you guys have not donated to the channel, donate to Cash App $7 Smalls. If you guys have not donated, donate to Cash App $7 Smalls. And guys, let's talk about this. The link has been dropped. What do you guys think about this whole fiasco about what Cam Newton is saying. Was Cam Newton right? Was Cam Newton wrong? Or was Cam Newton, guys, right on time? What do you guys think about this fiasco with what Cam Newton said? Was Cam Newton right? Was Cam Newton wrong? Or was Cam Newton, guys, right on time? The boss B culture, or the bad B culture, is destroying traditional families and destroying traditional relationships. And, you know, how are we going to get the best outcomes as a group when our women are not willing to listen to and understand what our men are saying on a consistent basis? And that's a problem. And so what Cam Newton is talking about is a microcosm of a greater macrocosm. What Cam Newton is talking about is a microcosm, guys, of a greater macrocosm. So the link has been dropped. The link has been dropped. Let's have a conversation. All right, we got Curtis Ball in the house. Curtis, I can't see you, brother. There you go. Of a greater macrocosm. So how you doing, Curtis? How you doing, sir?
How you doing, brother? How's everything? Let's make sure
everything is kosher. Everything is kosher, brother.
In the house. Curtis, I can't see you, brother. There you go.
Okay, well, yeah.
Of a greater macrocosm.
Let's make sure I have me silence there. How you doing today, good brother? It's been a long time since I saw you.
It's been a minute, sir. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. Yeah. We get so busy in our own corners, you know, because this issue is so big. I will keep this short and sweet, good brother. Okay, first off, Cam was dead right. We know he was. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Women and this feminism, this is a movement for superiority. It's not a movement for equality. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This, the modern woman is reacting to the things that we know her mother and her grandmother told her based on the stresses they went through in their generations.
Right. Totally.
So they're giving them bad advice in order to deal with our generations. And I have yet to meet the majority of women, younger women in this generation, especially below Gen X, but Gen X and below, I would say, who do a good job of vetting men. In addition to that, they do a terrible job. And I'm sorry, ladies, if this sounds cruel, but we have to tell you the truth. We are getting nowhere by not being honest with you. And and brother TKC, I had said one time on my podcast, I said, if we don't tell these women the truth, we're gypping them. And brothers our age, you know, and level of experience with life and stuff, we've been through this so many times. We have been living this entire gender divide. It has been going on our entire lives. You talk about it being 60, I'm 53. We're in the same age. We have grown up with this. We didn't understand it, but we sure knew what it felt like to get run over by it every single day. And I'm sure every man in here in our age range has found himself get run over to the point where he finds, by the time he finds a wife and she's a good wife, a good woman, he feels lucky. He feels like he just got lucky. And I'll tell you straight up, it's the same is true with me. I'm single, and I will, as much as I can stand to say it, the truth is I will remain single. If this keeps up the way it is going now, I will remain single. You know, I'm making life plans with me being single in mind, because because to delete the man from his own life, but at the same time depending on the man to take care of the wife, it's a lose-lose situation for the man.
Right.
And it's ridiculous, you know. And I know people have talked, you know, and I don't really want to, you know, muddy up the conversation, but I think the same was true of Will Smith. You know, let's just take Will Smith's, you know, the Oscar fiasco. Well, they called it a fiasco, but I think that in his situation, it was very much like all of ours, in that it was lose-lose. He seemed like he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. And I see a lot of us brothers going through the same. Like for instance, I'm sure viewers, I'm sure you have lurkers in here now. You know, I've seen and been listening to dispassionately and objectively many of the women content creators, specifically Cynthia G, looking for something that sounded like healing, that sounded like psychology, that sounded like psychopathology, that sounded like something clinical, because that's what's advertised. And
Right.
yet all I hear is base bigotry, base misandry, and absolute hate, to the point where anytime you think it's okay to justify the genocide of all Black men, you have lost your freaking mind.
Right.
And I don't mind telling them the truth at this point. And you know, because at this point I don't see where the arguing and fussing and fighting is going to get easier if we don't speak out. Now since the last time I saw you, I've been censored 13 times.
Oh, really?
And that's for saying things just like this. You know, positive conversations where we're actually keeping it real and we're not ignoring what's right in front of our faces anymore. And then, of course, you know what I get hit with? Spam. That's what I think is the most insulting thing. To take a full-grown Black man, you know what I mean? And I am elder to these young ladies, you know, and for them to take a look, you know, they may as well spit in their father's face if they're going to spit in mine.
Right.
Because these are the same women who also, when the stuff hits the fan, are also the same women who come back to me looking for protection.
Right.
The exact same women.
Exact same ones, right.
And they don't seem to understand that they have to understand now, from now to the rest of my life, that if this does not change, no protection. I'm tired.
Right.
You know, we hear women say, you know, oh, I work so hard. I'm tired. Women, we acknowledge that. We love you and we respect you for it. And we've only, and you see that from the majority of us. You know, we wouldn't have songs like "I Always Love My Mama." You know, my mama, my mama, my mama, my mama, my mama. You know, it's a mantra from the Black man, and I don't think it's all woman worship or anything like that. Sometimes I think it's just, you know, love for the only person that you feel is protective of you. So and then even that can still evolve into a you know, like you said, a form of worship. Whereas men, it's degrade, and we can't live like that.
Yeah. Men cannot exist in a silo where they can't be allowed to be their authentic selves, or more or less manifest heteronormative masculinity. The culture now does not allow men to be the warriors, and because of that, in my opinion, it's going to cause a lot of issues long term for the sustainability of a community that in many minds feel don't currently exist. And so, you know, what you're seeing now is the erosion of not only free speech, but the erosion of masculinity, man. And sadly, it's unfortunate. Shout out to my man, Chaotic Truth. How you doing, sir?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you perfect.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Sir, I was doing awesome today, but after hearing those beautiful, sweet words come out of that man's mouth, I you know, it's almost like I've died and gone to heaven.
You talking about Cam Newton? Or are you talking about?
Yeah, Cam Newton. Now, will Cam Newton go to the Hall of Fame? Probably not.
Yeah, right.
But one thing he will go to the Hall of Fame on is keeping it real.
No doubt.
You see, I tell women all the time, you know, I'm married now, but I tell women who call into my show, when I was teaching, I used to tell my coworkers and the students that I had that were girls, the good Lord made your hand small enough to wrap around a mop. And the most beautiful thing a man sees when he comes home at night is his wife's hands wrinkled from washing dishes. See, that's how it should be. Right. Now, I grew up in a nuclear family. My mom had a professional job, but there was nothing like coming home and when you hit that door, you could smell the food cooking.
Right.
Because even though my mom worked hard that day, it was nothing like the fact that my mom, I knew there was going to be some food on the table. It was nice and pleasant in the house. She wasn't hollering and screaming and annoying my dad. The problem with women today is that they are a product of the post-feminist dystopian universe in which we live in the Western Hemisphere,
Yes,
particularly in America.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is that these women have been told that they are independent. They have been told that they need a nigga who makes 7 figures. They've been told all these astronomical lies that don't relate to reality at all. First of all, you hear a lot of women saying they need a 7-figure man. Well, most human beings don't make over $25,000 a year, considering the fact that most of the planet is third world. And if you consider a first world country like ourselves, most men here probably make about $45,000, $50,000 a year here. And this is the best country on the planet.
Right.
So these women walk around and they have these illusions in their head, like, you know, they could be 40 years old. I'm going to get me a millionaire. You hear this nonsense? You hear this nonsense with women, and they talk about how they can, how a man, the woman could look like Whoopi Goldberg in Color Purple. She could look like Celie, and talking about how she needs a Hermes bag or whatever kind of ridiculous item that costs thousands of dollars that even a rich man wouldn't even want to buy for his wife.
Right.
And so now these women are walking around, and really because of social media has told these women now that they can get any man that they want. So now that these women are being empowered and they're being told that they are the queens of the earth, they don't want to cook, they don't want to clean, and they're not going to do it for your average run-of-the-mill guy who's a firefighter, who's a school teacher, you know. So if they're not going to do it for that guy, and odds are they're not going to do it for anybody, even if they got a quote-unquote high-value man.
Right.
They're not going to get.
Right.
So now you have Cam Newton. Let me get back to him. Cam Newton, he recognizes this. He grew up in a very nuclear family. And the beauty about his family is he had a grandmother living with him. So he had multiple generations.
Right.
And with a grandmother, you're talking about an old Negro woman from way back in the day, probably from the South, who had really traditional values.
Right.
So he sees these Jezebels, because remember, he has more access to Jezebels than we do. Of course. Right. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire. He's worth $50-60 million. So he sees this Jezebel nature, and by nature, the black man is really conservative. Yeah, we sleep around, we do our business with bitches, but generally the black man is conservative. And him being from a family where his father was in the household, his father was a pastor, if I'm not mistaken, it's just like any vice. You know, you drink alcohol, you watch porn, and after you get done doing it, you look in disgust, like, what have I done? And a man like that, he's been around so much coochie all his life. The man is good looking, he's tall, he has a chiseled jaw structure, pause. He's like any other man when they're tired of something and they're tired of filth.
Right.
And he knows what's really right. And what's really right is a conservative woman.
Right.
And the tragedy of it all is that you have so many women who are upset about what he says, so many simps like Stephen A. Smith simping. And the tragedy of it is that this man this man came from a marriage that is going on 40 years. Now, is Cam a bit of a hypocrite? Sure, because he has kids outside of wedlock. He's not married to all his child's mother. His message is correct. Mm-hmm. And the women that are complaining more than likely came from a broken home, particularly with a single mother. Mm-hmm. The woman that was talking to Stephen A. Smith, the co-host that they only hired because she's a pretty woman, she was married for 3 years. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see more and more of these women. They're going to be cat ladies into their 40s and 50s because they are thinking that they are independent. They're thinking that their degrees mean something.
Right.
When in fact, they're trying to dog what ancient man has been doing for eons. The woman should be domestic. The woman should be cooking and cleaning and taking care of the family. That is her divine duty. It was her divine duty in the hunter-gatherer age, and it's a woman's divine duty now. There's nothing like a woman being at home taking care of her family. Why on earth would a woman want to work for another man outside the household? And like you said earlier, when I cammed up, if shit were to hit the fan, all of these independent women would turn right back into the kitchen because no woman wants to get their brains blew off in a full-scale war. And let's be honest, women don't want to do that. Men will have to do it. And that's the difference. Everybody, for some reason, during peace, and I don't want to talk your guys' head off.
No, you're fine, man.
It's easy for a woman during peacetime to have all these ideas, but I bet you women didn't have these ideas during World War II. Did you see any women trying to get over to the beaches of Normandy? No, those were young boys, 18, 19, and 20, fighting for this country. And women don't have to do it. We don't want them to do it. No man in his right mind would really want a woman in a foxhole with him. Absolutely not. Covering his back. And let's just be honest. The fact of the matter is that Cam Newton is right.
Right.
He's a prophet. And even though he may not get into the Hall of Fame in football, he will get into the Hall of Fame in terms of traditional patriarchal thinking.
Let me ask you a question real quick. I know.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
And then I want West Side Colic to speak, but I followed you a little bit off and on. I've seen you on different platforms.
Yes.
I like your message. I like your tone,
Yeah.
Do I agree 100% with everything you say? No. Just like you want to agree 100% with me, but I agree with more what you say than I don't. I agree probably with 90 to 95% of what you say. There's some things but why is the truth so chaotic in your opinion? Why is the truth so chaotic? And I'm going to tell you why I think it is chaotic truth. It's a conditioning called cognitive dissonance, which is a byproduct of an acronym that I created called DEAF. They deny the evidence when you present them with the evidence.
Yes,
they become enraged when you present them with the evidence.
Yes, sir.
They argue through ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of attacking the messenger.
Yes,
and
sir.
they fight you or flee. And so, we live in very strange times, chaotic truth, where the truth is a lie, where the lie is a truth.
Yes, sir.
And what down is up and up is down. And so anytime, men begin to speak out and speak truth to power and try to be their authentic selves, because as a licensed therapist, we talk about something called the authentic self of a man. But when men try to more or less proclaim their authentic selves and heteronormative masculinity, it's always met with ill repute.
Yes,
and
sir.
chaotic truth, I've said before in the past, that a nation of warriors can rise no higher than the nurturers that support the warrior class. And what's happening now, chaotic truth, a lot of warriors are saying that they're not getting their needs met. A lot of warriors are saying they're broken by gynocentric thought and gynocentric ideology. A lot of the warriors are saying that they can't get peace in their chaotic homes. A lot of warriors are saying they want traditional conservative women that are feminine and wife ready. But what men are getting now is the boss B chick attitude.
Yeah.
They're getting women that have very high expectations,
Yeah.
Like so many modern ones had had a lot of fun, got 5 or 6 kids by Raekwon and Man, but they still want a good woman. See, I never understood chaotic truth to the women that say, well, I shouldn't have to cook because I work and he work. Well, I say just stay single. Because at any time, chaotic truth, I'm a white collar professional.
Yes,
I
sir.
still cut grass. I wash cars.
Yes, you
I
do.
change the oil. I fix things in my house.
Yep.
I wash my own clothes.
Yep.
And at any time, chaotic truth, West Side Colic, and also Curtis, I'm expected to give my life.
Yep.
The gospel said greater love to have no man than this, that a man will lay down his life for a friend. He told man, he said, men love your wives if Christ has loved the church, which basically means that men must die for their wives at any point. And that's the greatest honor that a man can give a woman is his life. But women, many modern women aren't expecting to give their life for a man. They come into a relationship expecting a partnership. And that partnership term, some women say it loosely. Some just mean a helper. But partner in the construct of modern times means egalitarian relationship, which basically means that I have co-equal power to say and do what I want to do. I can make rules and you can make rules instead of you being the husband. You're the final decision maker. She come and assist you on your mission based on the mandates of the gospel to be a helpmeet to you. But at the end of the day, it don't mean you don't listen to your wife, because there's some things that your wife can do better than you. But at the end of the day, you are the decision maker. You are the power broker, the one that sets the bar for that relationship, and that's it. But so many, chaotic truth want taxation without representation. They want to tax the man mentally, but they don't want to adhere to outcomes that can help a man become the better version of themselves. But back to the point, why is the truth so chaotic in your opinion, sir?
It's a cultural thing. It's a racial thing. you know, I don't want to ball hog the panel, and I don't know how long you're gonna be live, but I do have to split for a minute, and I probably will come back.
Okay, that's fine.
It's chaotic because most people now want to be catered to and coddled. Ooh, people want to feel good now, and so a lot of times people don't want to hear the truth because it's upsetting. You know, I grew up. I'm 37. I grew up in a day and age when a coach, a male teacher, would say, "You're lost, chaotic. You're a loser. Try again." And those sweet words, would make you want to try again and again and again. It was nothing like your father, my dad. It was nothing like him calling me a loser when I failed. It was nothing like my father kicking me when I was down. Those are valuable lessons. But now people don't want to hear certain things. You know why I'm kicking you while you were down? Because the other day you sat there and you watched 6 hours of TV instead of studying. Now you got a D on your math test. So you're lost. You're a loser. That's what happens. Because instead of using your, it's not that they're calling you a loser just because, but there was always a reason. But see now, because all these kids now grew up in the participation trophy generation. I was a teacher. Everybody gets
I was too. I was a teacher too.
Yeah. I listen, I quit teaching for this very reason. I saw the writing on the wall years ago. When the children would do good, I would reward the children who did good. The fucking women principal would come into the room and say, "Well, everybody needs to get pizza. Everybody needs to get that." And I said, "Lady, in the 90s, when I was a kid, their same age, when the students that fucked up or didn't do as well lost or failed, they were not awarded." And that's a valuable teaching lesson. That means that's showing you on a microcosm, or hopefully I'm using the word right. This is how the world really works.
No,
they don't
microcosm.
want to do that anymore.
Microcosm,
Everybody wants to coddle people now. And so I called myself the chaotic truth because I'm just blunt and brutal. I've always been like that. I've always said this to girls. If a girl would have asked me, "How do I look in this dress?" I would just say, "You're fat. You shouldn't wear that." And I think that's why a lot of people in my real life love me, because they don't expect me to lie to them. And I don't expect you to lie to me as well. But go ahead, guys.
Go ahead, Curtis. Go ahead, brother.
I would like to back brother Cass up on that as well. I've gotten to the point where I see no benefit in keeping my mouth shut anymore. Normally, I used to keep my mouth shut out of respect, out of even a sense of chivalry. But at this point, even the chivalry, even that kind of great chivalry, it's self-destructive at this point.
Yes.
We're doing ourselves a disservice. The other thing I wanted to say was, given what we're saying tonight, and I saw this on a documentary, if we were put in front of a number of university students nowadays, and we were asked, is this program right here an example of toxic masculinity? They would probably all say yes. And then when you ask them what toxic masculinity is, zero of them can answer the question. So how is, well, actually, this is a rhetorical question, right? So how is us talking about our preferences, what we want for our lives? We aren't saying anything about taking it away from anyone else, but just what we want for our lives, for our preferences, which we have a divine right, a God-given right to have our preferences. And so for people to even sit here and argue with us is ridiculous. And if we flip the script, right, and a woman, women tend to have, their own preferences. I don't see us arguing with them, or if there is the one rare man who will argue with them, we pretty much all slide off because we as men, we want our freedom. We want our freedom. It's like it's been snatched from us. All of a sudden, only conditional freedom is the term I was.
Before I go, I have for the panel here, and y'all here, because you were talking about, I wanted to get your opinion statement on this. You were saying it's different within, I think you said race. Can you expound on that? What you meant by that?
Yes, and I hate the fact that I have to leave so quick, but I want to come back. Hopefully, you guys are still live streaming. Thank you for the super sticker, AMSM. And guys in the chat, please hit the like button and please share this video. Black people, especially that I've come across, especially Black Americans, we love, and I consider myself Black American, even though my parents are Nigerian. Love hearing things that make themselves feel nice. You know, it's nothing like telling a Black person a lie. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Tyrone, you did a really good job, man. Oh man, thanks. You know why? One of the reasons why the neighborhoods, Black neighborhoods, are so fucked up, and Black restaurants are so fucked up, because Black people don't tell the truth. It takes a Black man like myself to say, why are you niggas always late, man? You ain't gotta talk to us like that, my nigga. No. I do, because I love Black people. I want our people to be better than every other race of people. And the fact of the matter is that when I come in here, you don't have collard greens on the fucking menu. I go into the Jewish restaurant.
Cal, be careful with the cursing, brother.
Sorry, I blacked out. I blacked out. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
And I have a question.
But that's what I meant by race. Black people, we love hearing lies, and those lies don't make us.
To add on that to
go ahead.
But add on to that.
Sorry, I blacked out.
Yeah, I don't I don't really agree with that. I think that's today's society in general. When I look at, and I would call them the Nazi Zionists, or people that are not of brown skin. I don't consider myself Black or nothing like that. That's a whole nother thing here. But I'm talking about this subject here. I consider the whole society just like, especially these leftists.
I agree.
If you will, pale-faced people. I consider they really like to be told the lies and, to be coddled, if you will. And I would say that's just human, and again, I'm millennial, but I would say that's like it's a generational.
Yeah, but you asked me the question, and here goes the thing. That's what I've observed in my life in terms of just the races. It feels like Black people.
But I can't just put that on people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you get what I was coming from our experiences, right?
No.
It's just my experience. I just experienced that with Black people, you gotta lie sometimes. They don't like hearing the truth. That's just what I've observed.
That's everybody.
Well, I see what you're saying. You're talking about from your anecdotal experience, but
my experience.
But what Westside Colleague is saying, he's delineating the difference between conservative whites versus liberal whites.
Guys, how long you gonna be live? Because I want to come back. How long?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably 15, 20 minutes. I got to roll in a minute, but.
Damn. How did you go live? Because I want to, because I like this.
This pop in, man. If I'm on, you can come on then. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Hey guys, have a good one.
All right, brother. Shout out to my man AS, a man supporting men for that $99 super sticker. Thank you, sir. A man supporting men. But go ahead, Westside Colleague. I want you to add clarity to the conversation. And before you do that, Westside Colleague, because you always add clarity. But before you do that, guys, hold tight. Before you do that, we need to talk about, as this is the sign of the show.
This is the part of the show where we find solutions.
All right. Westside Colleague, what are the solutions and what is the issues associated with what Cam Newton is saying? Because Cam Newton is reverberating Westside Colleague, what a lot of men are saying on a subconscious and conscious level. And basically what they're saying is that men want peace of mind. The gospel said, as I said earlier, that a quarrelsome and contentious woman will run a man to the rooftop, to the corners of a rooftop. And so what Cam Newton is saying is synonymous to how he was raised in a traditional home, but also synonymous to the doctrines, the dictates of the gospel, where it tells women indirectly or directly to remain silent at times so that men can have peace. Well, what's your take on that, brother?
Well, Mr. Newton didn't say anything wrong. If anything, he said what needed to be said. It'd have been greater if he'd have said that at the beginning of his career, and especially, I don't know if y'all remember this. I don't know if you talked about it too, a culture clinician, but early in his career, it was a white lady that was, I guess, at the post-game conference or whatever you call them things, and he said something. and he was like, you need to get back in the kitchen, and they would call him a sexist and all this kind of crap. I wish he'd have buckled down and said what he, said now back then, because, man, we got to stop. And no matter what race, religion, we got to stop failing on our own sword and being afraid of women or being afraid of these feminists. We have to say what needed to be said. He didn't say anything like, okay, all women should, I don't know, bow down to me and I should, be able to defecate on them or something like that. He didn't say anything like that. He said the natural state of order. Just like if our human bodies say, you know what, I'm not going to do this right now. I'm not going to do this right now. This is what we're doing in nature nowadays. We're literally going against nature in the process of growth and evolution. So if our bodies did certain things, so, you know what, I'm not going to do this. Well, certain people would get ailments, they would die, they would get sick. So we gotta really ignore the mentally ill that are trying to control these narratives here. And a lot of our women, no matter what color, black, white, green, whatever, they are mentally ill. They really are in a bad condition, y'all. And to the real men that understand this, that have been disciplined, that don't take advantage of these, because I don't take advantage of these mentally ill women, because I don't want to deal with the stress. I don't want to deal with the karma, dharma, whatever. But a lot of these women are literally bad, crazy. So, the answer, I'm being long-winded, but he didn't say nothing wrong. He didn't say nothing wrong at all.
May I second everything the good brother just said?
Yeah, you can. Kurzweil, give me a minute. Let me shout out my man. I'm Andrew Baker. Shout out to Andrew Baker for that $20 super Cash App super sticker, and that is a deal, right? Thank you, Andrew Baker. Thank you, sir, for that $20 love offering. Andrew Baker says, "Salute, kosher. You brothers on the panel on point with this topic. Marriages are more successful when men lead and women follow. The current state of the Black community is all the proof that you need to these current issues that we have in these modern times." And I think that Andrew Baker is 100% correct. I think our women are safe when they are being led by masculine men. Now, I will say this. Many modern men are not fit to lead. Many modern men are not worthy to lead. But when women are cooperative, it increases his leading quotient. And many men have not really seen true heteronormative masculinity or leadership. But when a man has a woman in his corner that's pushing him and helping him lead, that man becomes the better version of himself. But go ahead, Curtis. Go ahead and answer the conversation, sir. Go ahead.
Again, I want to thank Andrew Baker, and for the good brother Westside. I agree with everything you just said, every single thing. And also, I would like to, if I can throw out some some little numbers of kind of calculate along the way, is that when I look at the different male content creators. One thing I always try to remind people in my group about is that no two independent thinkers are ever going to agree on everything. So people have to remember that, And but number two, if I take your content, TKC, or if I take Kevin Samuel's content or Minister Jab's content, because you guys are huge, and I just scribble out some of the math. We have about a 98.5% agreement rate.
No, I agree.
So but that 1.5% may be significant to us as individuals.
Right.
But being as we have such a high rate of concordance, I don't see any other way to do this other than for us to link up. Like say, I've been watching you for quite a while, right? I'm inspired by you. I'm inspired by Kevin Samuels. I'm inspired by other brothers, Right. And that also helped me to open up and to start doing the same thing. But at the same time, it's not lost on me that I don't see the public networking as much as I think we need to, because it seems to me that what women are looking at, or what they think they're looking at, is a broken front of men, which is why they like to say things like Sinji, black men don't even like each other. Black men can't get along. Please, if we couldn't get along with each other or like each other, there would be no society. So that's absolutely ridiculous on its face. But the truth is, I think if the more they start seeing us side to side, and stop looking at us as individual chicks in the basket, that's the only way I can see that more women will be very serious about what we're saying. And if I can offer you gentlemen some hope, you know, I work with some very good women in my group. Some of them are reformed feminists, because as we were talking about earlier, you know, there's only so much of that "we don't need you" that's going to last before it's going to be like, man, help me. You know what I mean? I need help, you know?
Right.
And then here we come running again, not being simps or anything like that, but just being protective men. And so we just have to worry. We have to watch out. You know, like we were saying, we just have to watch out for who we protect. And today, like right here and now, I will say unequivocally that the only women I protect, period, are the women who show me that they appreciate that protection.
Right.
If they reject that protection, I have to reject them for the sake, as you said earlier, and as we talked about before, about how clinicianship is so important now. I will dismiss that woman who does not want my protection for the sake of my own sanity.
Right.
I can work with, if I have 100 women and 99 of, well, let me give you some real numbers. If I have 20 women and 17 are supportive of Black men and 3 aren't, I only have 17 women I have to pay attention to.
Right.
We're at that point. So I'll stop right there.
Well, I want to ask you a question. I asked Westside the question in the past, and then we're going to talk about solutions more or less, and then I'm going to end the stream. I have to be at the office in the morning.
Yes,
well, what
sir.
percentage of women, Curtis, you and I are around the same age. You're 53, I'm 50. We lived in a time when normalcy was more normal, but these young men like Westside Colic and many other the millennial men that want wives, many are bellowing the sentiment that the percentage of women that are wife worthy and wife ready is very minuscule.
Yes.
What would you say, or what percentage of women would you say, Curtis, are wife worthy, wife ready, and also traditional from your anecdotal research and your anecdotal experience?
Ooh, you know, that's a very hard question to answer. I've never been able to answer that question all the way across the board. I've been better able to answer it if we separate women into generations. With Gen X women, in my experience, the ones that are marriage ready, it's hard to say because of the divorce rate, the divorce rate in the background. Because what I hear from them now is that they don't want to get married again. They're scared to get married again. They want more of a long-term companionship. And but the younger women, like in the millennial range, I'll be lucky if I've met 3 total in the last 15 months. So we're talking less than 1%.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You think it's less than 1?
Out of 11,000 something women, 3 are only ones I met that were traditional women.
Oh, wow. That is, oh my goodness, man.
I'm surprised I'm sitting up here not being depressed. But if I can give you something positive to go with, right? That 1.5%, that less than 1%, we have to remember with the statistics, as you know, brother TKC and US side, the statistics might seem small, but this is where statistics can be dangerous, because the total number of the top population, we can be easily fooled by feeling like, oh no, less than 1%. But let's just extrapolate that to the what is it? 200 million Black women that we have in the United States, and 7.5 or 3.75 billion women worldwide. That less than 1% is vanishingly small, because that still gives us 100,000. That still gives us millions of women. So there are still, in my opinion, you know, given the numbers are telling you, there are still millions of women available to us, but that is it's like shotgun, you know. Right. You'd be lucky if you know, just shotgun and, you know, or like cooking spaghetti, throw it into the wall and hope it sticks. And that's a piss poor 50-50 way of trying to approach marriage and long-term relationships.
Right. I agree with Luke Casely. She said another troubling thing is that the ratio of women to men is 97% for 97% males for 100% females. That makes more women are voting for liberal policies they tend to work against men. And it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. And as I said, my heart goes out to the West Side College of the world, the Top Guns, and the young men that are looking for wives. You know, I've been married for 26 years. We've had our ups and downs like any marriages, but my wife was raised old school, traditional. If I was a single man, I would not deal with most modern women. Now, I'd probably stay single or travel abroad and get me a traditional woman, but I wouldn't deal with.
Which is exactly where I am, and I will tell you the truth right here, okay? Like we were saying, like with the good brother that was on earlier, Chaotic. I will tell you the truth. Chaotic is from Nigeria, right? I'm at about a 50-50 chance of moving to Uganda, where I know a very beautiful, very sweet, very kind woman who would rather me move there and be treated well for the first time in my life than for her to bring her parents here to be treated worse than they've ever been treated before. And so hopefully that gives your viewers the impression of just how hard it is, because I'll repeat this again. I am 53, single, never been married, no kids. That was never my plan.
That was never your plan, right?
Never my plan. But that's where I am now, and it's for these reasons that we're all discussing now.
Go ahead, West Side. Go ahead, brother.
I don't mean to be combative or because I agree with everything you're saying, sir. But those African women, and I'm not into African women. I'm gonna put that out there. But I'm not at all. But they're kind of crazier than our women here. And what I mean is a lot of them have, they are. And then I'm near Washington D.C. You got a lot of these Eritrean, I think that's how you say it, or Ethiopian women too. They're personally, I wouldn't deal with them. They have a lot of feminazi type of traditions. They wear weave. They're angry. They're loud. A lot of them date outside their race too. A lot of them do. I mean, I see it a lot. So when I hear our men say that. And then I hear African men say this too. They say their women are crazy too. So I'm like,
yes. In my case, I know what you mean. In my case, I'm talking specifically about one woman.
Okay.
And not generalized across the board, because I've met many a crazy woman from around the world. Period. I wouldn't deal with them. As long as I've been single, I've made crazy. I'm still single because of crazy. Wonder hopefully it won't drive me crazy.
But you know what, West Side, I understand your concern, West Side. But, and I respect your position. I would say that a lot of those women that they're talking about may not be germane to their native country as much as they are in America. Not saying that in their native country they don't exhibit those behaviors too, because we know the feminism is spreading in those countries as well. But I would still say by and large, and I could be wrong, West Side, that you got a better pool from the broader continent of Africa than you have in America. Not saying they don't have issues, not saying the feminism is not spreading in African countries as well. But I still would think that they are better overall. When they come to America, do some of them change? Yeah, perhaps. But I think what you're saying is that you probably like to deal with Asian women or maybe Afro-Latin women. Is that fair to say?
If I was going to go out of my country, I would deal with, let me see, I would go to probably South America or maybe Eastern European. But the Asian, no, I don't want to be mean. Let me not say that. I just say they're all the same gumbo to me in my experiences.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But also it's fair to say that's your limited anecdotal experience, and your experiences don't more or less represent the masses. Is that fair to say?
I mean, in this generation, I don't think so, sir. No. Again, I don't mean to be combative or give people pushback.
You're not being combative. That's your opinion.
But I look at these women nowadays, and especially the generation after me, whether she be from Asia, wherever she may be, these girls have an agenda. And if you don't know the game, if you ain't on it, you will get played, whether she's from Africa, Russia, Prussia, Germany, same thing, whatever it may be, you will be played. And they have a game. You got to understand.
Yes.
I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now. These girls, and I know a friend. I know if I'll just keep it. I know a friend. He, met a girl online. A lot of these dudes meet these girls online, went over there, and she's a known seller of herself. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of these girls are international sellers. I'll just keep it like that.
I know what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And
What was his experience on West Side?
The lustful experience is great, but in terms of I'm going to find a traditional wife, or she's going to have these morals where she I marry her, she cooks, she cleans. It's like a hypnosis. They sell you this. Oh, she's Eastern European. She has these little small village traditions, and all this kind of thing. And then when you get her and you see her, you're like, dang, she's worse than the devil I know. And I've heard multiple men talk about this, and it's like a what you call it, like a flipping switch. I can't think of the word, but it's like that.
Duplicitous.
Yes, sir. So I just tell dudes, I advocate for dudes to travel and all this, but them foreign chicks, they got better game. The thing is, these American chicks are showing their true face, who they are.
Right.
I'm traditional, this, that, and the third. And you meet them, they're gonna get you.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead, Curtis. Go ahead, brother.
That's been my experience too. Because and let's get back to what you were saying earlier, brother TKC, about how this can affect men's sanity. It can shred our brains and hearts in a heartbeat like nothing else. And like what the good brother West Coast was saying, that's why I feel like my dating history has been. It this isn't really the case, but in looking back, it looks like I just took a dart and was just so frustrated. I was just throwing it at the globe, seeing where it hit, and says, okay, let me try women from there. Mm-hmm. That's what my dating history looks like. Women from around the globe. And guess what? It didn't matter. It never mattered where she was from. It was always the same mess. It was always, an issue of, oh, I like you, but my parents won't accept you. That was a common one. Mm-hmm. Basically, you name the game, and it got ran on you.
Right.
Only the faces had changed, and that's why I like to talk about the gender divide. That it is global, but that the Black community, we seem to be the loudest and most outspoken, to have taken over a corner of the internet to address these issues. Mm-hmm. But the truth is from everything I've talked to people about, every man and every woman is feeling the burn of this right now.
Right. And different men have had different experiences. I'm not here to minimize what you and the West Side are saying, because I know it's validity to it, but I still say the odds are better from some of the African countries, some of the European countries.
My prospects look better outside the United States than inside the United States.
That's my point. Right. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean those women don't have issues. Like West Side said, doesn't mean they don't have game. That's true. Mm-hmm. I think you find a greater quotient from the countryside than the city. Yes. In my opinion, I think the quotient is a lot better from the countryside than those in the city of those said countries. But every man experience is different. I've met brothers that said that they were perfect, they were good. I met brothers like what West Side said, they were horrible, they were chameleons. But every man is different. But we can't limit our anecdotal experience and more or less equivocate it with the greater populace. So
yes,
it's subjective to the most part. But it does not minimize the experiences of West Side. It doesn't minimize your experience as well. We take all those contingencies into consideration. But I do think the odds are better for West Side being a single man abroad. I think the odds are better for you being abroad than dealing here in this dystopia called America. So real quick, starting with West Side in less than 5 minutes, in less than 3 minutes, what are the solutions? Maybe you talked about it, but I want you to reiterate. West Side, what are the solutions moving forward as we face these very troubling times? What are the solutions?
Well, pertaining to Cam Newton and all men, I don't care what kind of job you got. Not anyone in the panel, I'm not saying this. I'm saying men in general in the populace of this world. I don't care what kind of job you got. I don't care about your clout. I don't care how much women you're getting. You're supposed to lay the law down as a man by any means necessary. By any means necessary. That's what a man is. It's not how much money he makes, not how much followers he has on Instagram. It's what you can do to make it better for the next generation. That's why I was saying with Cam Newton, he should have paved the ground and did an American head charge at that lady or that situation there, as opposed to, putting your head down and, oh, I got a job or I need to do this. No. Time now is to blow everything out the water right now. All this kind of technical thing, let me do this. That's no more. And then, for finding women, I don't hear a lot of dudes saying this too, even within this country. A lot of places, little small towns, whether it be in the Midwest, Northwest, whatever. A lot of women are good in these locations too. We talk about the Miamis and California, but nobody talks about these little Midwestern towns and the South. There's still some hope left there too.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, so I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but that's a solution for me, within, because I'm not gonna go abroad to try to find another chick. Now if I can't find something in my time frame, yeah, I might do that. But I gotta in other words, I'd rather be in some crap with a chick I know that's of my culture or language, and then dealing with the language barrier and all that. But I do advocate. I like what y'all are saying, and that's my solution.
That's just thank you, Westside. Real quick, Curtis, what are the solutions, man?
My solution first, brother, was to listen to my brothers who have been doing this longer than me.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first step I had to take. Secondly, I had to realize where I fit in the grand scheme of this thing, and I had to realize that I had been in the midst of it all my life. The only solution I can think of to get out of it, because we're in this together, men and women, we're going to have to get out of this together. I am a bit more optimistic, I hear, than the brothers, my contemporaries, all you brothers. I know you guys tend to think it might take like 13 generations or so to heal. I am shooting more for 3. That's how I tend to see these things correct themselves in terms of 3 generations. But on this one, I wholly admit that I'm out of my element, and that I'm I'm necessarily adding some hope to this. I'm not completely dispassionate about it, but solution-wise, what has worked for me was to follow right back on the heel of my brothers who have been here doing this before, and also to click with the clinicians, because we do come with specific backgrounds, but that doesn't mean to exclude anybody else either. All of our voices are important, and then I finally had to talk to black women in particular, women in general, who literally. The litmus test is literally, we want or we need your protection. Without that statement, it's a no-go. And that's where we are. That's where I feel like I have to be in order to protect myself. Because if I'm not protecting the woman, if I'm protecting a woman who is not protective of me, because they don't, a lot of times we think of ourselves as protectors, but we don't think about how women protect us, protect our egos, like you said earlier.
Right.
So if it's not both directions, it's a one-way relationship. And as I like to say nowadays, if you have one-way relationships, you have no relationships.
No, I totally agree. I think the solutions, guys, and we're going to sign off in a minute. I got to get ready to be at the office in the morning.
Yes, sir.
It's for men to still start loving themselves once again.
Mm-hmm.
It's for men to continue to rally around each other and unify, for other men to hold each other accountable, and for men to more or less focus on themselves, their mission and their purpose. And what'll happen, one or two things going to happen. Either the tide's going to turn, which I don't think it's going to turn, and not in my lifetime, or men are going to be left behind. So it's all about positive reinforcement for the man, positive reinforcement for the woman.
Yes.
She benefits, he benefits, but never a one-sided way, or more or less a more or less imbalanced way where her needs are getting met and his needs are being castigated to the side. So I think like what Cam Newton said is true, and true behavior modification. Men got to start being men again.
Yes.
Because women only respect guys' power and strength. That's all they respect is power and strength. And when men start being men, and I think we'll slowly begin to do it, and even though there are some that are trying to usurp these movements, usurp these platforms, we might get chameleons in the mix, because we know that sometimes women will act true to form to get a man.
Oh yes.
But I think guys like Westside Colic and yourself and myself, we're wise enough to more or less rule out the shenanigans. I can see BS from a mile away. And sometimes, guys, I do things intentionally to see if the woman is genuine in the first place. And sadly, many times they fall for the okie doke, man. So the solution is for men to focus on themselves, love themselves, set the bar high, Set the standards high, but make sure you are able to equivocate the standard that you're setting, and move straight ahead. And until that happens, guys, we're going to continue to have this disequilibrium in modern times of relationships. So it's been another classic, guys. It's been another great one.
It sure has. Thank you.
I appreciate the Westside Colleague as always, and also Curtis, brother. I appreciate it, guys. And to the 36 still watching, guys, share this content, help this channel grow and expand, because you're not going to find too many licensed clinical masculine therapists in this space that more or less talk about things from a heteronormative perspective as it relates to empowering not only Black men, but empowering all men that are traditional and to believe in traditional relationships. We're not talking about Black male liberals or white male liberals. We're talking about Black traditional men and white traditional men that are more or less seeking to get the best bang for their buck.
Yes.
So like I said, and Luke Casey, you're correct there. She said, and don't plant a seed in bad soil. She is 1,000% correct. So guys, we're signing off. And before we sign off, I'm going to run this commercial because mental health matters. And once again, thank you, Westside Colleague and Curtis. And we're signing off, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, good brother.
Are you a victim of brokenness and despair? A broken man is a hopeless man, and a hopeless man is a very dangerous man. Many times, many of you young men that are listening come from homes that are very toxic and very dysfunctional. And because of that, many of you have deferred your power in many ways to the point it's led over into your social life, and many times led over into your relationships. If you guys are dealing with mental health pathologies, conscious and unconscious, come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com. It's important that you deal with your mental health in order to be a better person for yourself, your loved ones, and also your community. But because mental health is often stigmatized, many of you often suffer in silence. Don't be a victim in silence. And see me once again at kosherclinician@gmail.com. And I need you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. And male mental health is one of those elements that's paramount to the functioning of a man. Be well.
Tell them run it off. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need bad energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took an L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need bad energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I, my favorite threesome. Yeah. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. No. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. No. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. Yeah. I was fake, you had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like, whoa, bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. I was starving, now I'm eating till my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on a shirt before a centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me daily too. Play for keys, don't tweet. It's not peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this link. Family on my side, baby stay around me. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. Want that combo, better know you'll need a check from me. Can pay to play, the sun that still won't get a cent from me. I mix the fit up with the side like it's a remedy. I mix it up inside the pot, watch it drip while it drop. Time to take it to the top. Chips all in the middle like it fall, no I won't flop. We gon' pop like a soda can top. To me this is nothing, call my bluff and I won't stop when I flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I want the checks, yeah. I don't want the second, I want best. I want best, yeah. By any means, that's a triple threat. A triple threat. Yeah, this is getting bigger, I might flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess.
In the morning, you got me up all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say